Hello, my name's Michelle Worthington and I am author of the Sass and Traz series. Today we're reading from Book 1, Sass and Traz Save the Library, and we're up to Chapter 5. Taking a story from the picture book shelves, Miss Burns waited until all the pirates were sitting with their legs crossed and their hands were in their laps before she began the story. This is a story called The Pink Pirate. Georgia had spent her whole life at sea. As a baby, she had crawled around the deck with balloons tied to her nappy in case she fell overboard. By the time she was 4, she could swim like a dolphin and do backflips off the gangplank. Now that she was nearly 6, she could spot a ship as tiny as a dot on the horizon and hoist the mainsail all by herself. Georgia wanted to learn how to steer the ship, but that was the captain's job, and her father said girls couldn't be captains. Captain Blackbeard snorted. "Of course, girls can't be captains. Don't be ridiculous." Closing the book and putting it carefully on her lap, Miss Burns stared sharply at Captain Blackboots. "If you say that one more time, I will give you a time out, and you will have to sit by yourself. Do you want that?" Captain Blackbeard shook his head. "Then make good choices and be quiet." With a cough to cover her giggle, Sass wheeled Traz around behind the pirates so they could get a better look at the pictures. She had no idea what reading a story would do to help get rid of the pirates, but she could tell Miss Burns had a plan. The trouble with Miss Burns and her plans was they had a 50-50 chance of success. Georgia was the daughter of the famous Ginger John, captain of the Jolly Jellyfish. Ginger John had always hoped for a son to become captain when he became too old to pillage and plunder. Because Georgia was a girl, he made her wear a pink dress with buttons and bows and told her to stay below deck when the real pirate fun began. "Ooh, pretty," said the pirates. "Shh," said Captain Blackbeard, sitting up straight and beaming at Miss Burns, his hands neatly folded in his lap. Miss Burns turned the page. One day, when they were sailing on the high seas, they saw another ship approaching. Waving in the wind was the skull and crossbones flag of the dreaded Captain Blackboots. Who is that guy?" "You don't mean Captain Blackbeard?" said the captain, forgetting all his manners. Shaking her head, Miss Burns continued. Ginger John grabbed his sword and shouted at Georgia to go below deck. The crew prepared to defend their ship. From the galley, Georgia could hear Captain Blackboots stomping onto the deck. She could hear the crew of the Jolly Jellyfish scuttling helter-skelter to avoid being caught. Then everything went quiet. The pirates gasped. No one was steering the ship. This was Georgia's chance to prove just how good a pirate she could be. She climbed to the top of the mainsail, and with a slash of her sword, the heavy canvas fell right on top of Captain Blackboots and his crew. The pirates gasped again. Ginger John scooped up the trapped buccaneers and threw them onto their boat like fish too small to keep. "3 cheers for my girl, Georgia, the pink pirate. Hip, hip." The pirates cheered, "Hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!" With a wink to Sass, Miss Burns finished the story. Georgia, the pink pirate, sailed away into the sunset, knowing you can be anything you want to be, as long as you believe in yourself. "Read it again," called Captain Blackbeard, clapping his hands with glee. Putting the book back on the shelf, Miss Burns turned and faced the pirates, sitting quietly on the mat. Libraries are great places for pirates. There is more treasure there than anywhere else in the world. The pirates nodded eagerly, looking around at the books in astonishment. You may be right. Clean up this mess, you scoundrels. Don't you know how to treat books proper? Said Captain Blackboots, poking the pirates with his sword until they got up and started putting everything back in its place. Perhaps we can stay here for a while and read some more of your treasure. Miss Burns sighed. Unfortunately, I won't have it for long. Another pirate is coming to take away my treasure. Be it that Captain Blackboot scoundrel trying to copy me and steal my rep. No, he's a politician. Even worse. No landlubber be taking away your treasure, my beauty. If I have anything to say about it, tell me where I can find the scoundrel. I'll hang him from the yardarm. Before Miss Burns could stop them, the pirates picked up their swords and hats and ran for the door. No! Yelled the twins, but it was too late. Sass glanced nervously sidewards as the footballers and wondered how they would react to a boatload of pirates rampaging down the hill towards them. Pop, 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 pop. Traz grabbed her arm. Sass, what just happened? As soon as the pirates had tried to leave the library, they had imploded like black holes and bright white lights whooshed back towards the bookshelves. Non-fiction, 910.4, said Miss Burns, her lips trembling. Pirates, nodded Sass, remembering the cool vibration of the metal drawers underneath her fingertips. For goodness sake, yelled Traz, can someone please explain to me what is going on? Miss Burns swung around to face him, her smile bursting into a wide grin. The library. It's the library. It knows we can't save it, so it wants to help save itself.